Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron, I hope you're having a great day or night in Jesus. We're in Matthew chapter 24, this great end-time chapter that Jesus talked about, and we're in verse 29, Matthew 24, where this is lesson 66 of our verse-by-verse journey through the book of Matthew, the tax collectors. Yes, tax collectors can be saved. So let's keep going here. What Jesus is telling them, you've got the Sermon on the Mount, chapters 5 through 7 of the book of Matthew, and then you've got the sermon kind of on the Temple Mount here in Matthew 24 and 25. And so verse 29, immediately after the tribulation of those days, that's the reason the 7-year period is known as the tribulation. Last 3.5 years, some would name the Great Tribulation. So immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. Wow. Just like at the crucifixion of Jesus, that happened for 3 hours. Not an eclipse. Eclipses can't happen at Passover just because of where the moon is and all this. This is going to be a supernatural event. And the stars shall fall from heaven. Now, does this mean the literal stars, or does this mean shooting stars? What does this mean? Well, if current astronomy is in fact correct, then obviously stars, probably from Andromeda Galaxy and Alpha Centauri and Sirius, Dog Star, these are not going to fall to Earth, but could mean they disappear, or it could mean that, a comet goes through the atmosphere, meteor, something supernatural. Also, angels are known as stars, like in Revelation chapter 12. But it does seem to be, with the sun and the moon, it seems to be something astronomical. Shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. So, that's pretty amazing. Remember in 2 Peter 3 that the heavens are going to melt with a fervent heat. And so when all this happens, verse 30, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. This goes back to Revelation chapter 1. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Now, kind of a point of dispute is this talking about Revelation chapter 19, or is this talking about another coming of Jesus, maybe like in Revelation 14, maybe a pre-trib rapture, something like that. But then verse 31, and he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the 4 winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So there's going to be a trumpet that sounds. You remember in the book of Revelation, there's 7 trumpets. And then 1 Corinthians 15 talks about a trump. And then 1 Thessalonians 4 talks about a trump as well. Not the Donald. But it's going to gather together his 4 elect. So is this talking about the end, like in Revelation 13? Or is the wicked judge then first, or something? So that's all something you have to consider in the study of the end time, which is known as eschatology, the great eschaton. And so verse 32, now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh or near. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. What? The coming of Jesus. He lists 3 things that he's going to be talking about in this great Olivet discourse, the Mount of Olives, so to speak. Tell us, when shall these things be? What shall be the sign of thy coming, of the end of the world, and when the temple is destroyed, not one stone above another? So the coming of Jesus, the end of the world, which some people would say the destruction of the temple was a euphemism for the end of the world. So verse 34, verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Now, C.S. Lewis said that was the most embarrassing scripture in the Bible, because obviously all these things evidently haven't come to pass. And the implication is Jesus said that generation he was speaking to. But now most people interpret that this generation that is experiencing these things, that this is all going to happen in one generation, like the 7-year tribulation. And then when you start seeing the heavens darkened and the moon and stars falling, it's coming to pass. Jesus is coming. And till all these things be fulfilled. Verse 35, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. Now, this is one of the great Bible preservation scriptures, because according to John 12, the entire Bible is the word of Jesus. We're all going to be judged by the words of God. So the Bible is going to last. It's going to endure. Also, there was no Q document. Jesus' words are going to exist. They existed in heaven. They're going to exist. Verse 36, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. So the coming, God created the earth before he created the atmospheres and the astronomical heavens and all this. And so nobody knows when this incredible destruction and end is coming, not even the angels. They're limited in knowledge. They're greater in power and might than us, but they're still limited in knowledge. But my Father only. But as the days of Noe, that's a Greek way to say Noah, were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noe entered into the ark. Verse 39, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So the flood's going to come. 8 get lifted up, very few. Everybody else gets destroyed. And so notice they were seeing the signs, and we see that now. I mean, earthquakes can happen, horrible things can happen. People are still getting married. They're still eating. They're still drinking, all of this stuff. And so then verse 40, then shall 2 be in the field, one shall be taken, the other left. 2 women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken, the other left. So, I mean, that's pretty interesting there as well. Coming of Jesus. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. That generation's not going to pass away. You know you're in the end time, but you don't know when he's coming. You don't know the hour. And so the angels of God don't even know. I was trying to look for a specific wording here. So you know not what the hour shall come. So of that day and hour, so you won't know just the hour, you won't know the day either. Some people try to say about the 45 days in Daniel 11 and all this. It says you're not going to know the day. Verse 43, but know this, that if the goodman of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched, would have not had suffered his house to be broken up. It's a surprise when thieves break in. Verse 44, therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. So a lot of people, as 2 Peter 3 says, they're going to say, well, where's the promise of his coming? When you think not, Jesus is going to come. Wow. Remember, Paul Gregory preached a great message one time. If you've never heard the great Paul Gregory, you need to. A think not generation. So we're going to continue on with this Olivet Discourse next time, lesson 67. So God bless you. Check out our other videos. Check out the journey through the first 66 lessons. See you later. Bye-bye.